Topic 1. Trump-Putin Summit in Alaska aims to weaken the Russia-China alliance. The summit between President Trump and President Putin in Alaska is interpreted as a strategic attempt to weaken the alliance between Russia and China. The Trump administration views China, rather than Russia, as the greatest long-term threat to the US in the 21st century, and is structuring its foreign policy to counter China's rise. Currently, Russia heavily relies on Chinese capital, markets, and diplomatic support, which could lead to a situation where the US confronts both nuclear powers simultaneously. Trump's goal is to detach Russia from China to secure strategic space for the US. He plans to use economic, military, and diplomatic means to encourage dealings with Russia, aiming to reduce America's excessive burdens in Europe and allocate more resources to the Indo-Pacific region. In this context, the Alaska Summit can be seen as part of a consistent strategy to align US foreign policy with countering China, rather than making concessions regarding Ukraine. Topic 2. MSNBC rebranding to MS Now following its spin-off from NBC Universal. MSNBC is set to change its name to MS Now and unveil a new logo following its spin-off from NBC Universal. This change comes as Comcast separates most of its cable networks into a new publicly traded company called Versant, which includes MSNBC, CNBC, and USA Network, among others. Each network plans to build an independent brand identity. MSNBC will sever its ties with NBC News and establish its own news-gathering organization while maintaining its existing editorial direction. A nationwide marketing campaign will also be launched. CNBC will retain its name, but plans to remove the NBC peacock symbol from its logo. Topic 3. Novo Nordisk's shares surge following US approval of Wegovy for liver disease. Novo Nordisk's shares surged after the US Food and Drug Administration, FDA, approved Wegovy as a treatment for metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease, MASH, in adults with moderate to severe liver fibrosis. Wegovy is the first GLP-1 class treatment approved for MASH, a progressive liver disease affecting about 5% of US adults. This approval expands Wegovy's presence in the metabolic disease market beyond diabetes and obesity. Novo Nordisk received approval based on research showing Wegovy's effectiveness in reducing the risk of heart attack, stroke, and death from cardiovascular causes. As a result, Novo Nordisk stock rose by 5.46% at 10:43 a.m. London time. Wegovy is set to be available immediately in the US as a treatment for MASH, making it the only FDA-approved MASH treatment alongside Madrigal Pharmaceuticals' Rezdiffra, which was approved in 2024. Topic 4. Air Canada faces operational disruptions as flight attendants defy orders. Air Canada is facing operational disruptions as flight attendants refuse to comply with government return-to-work orders and continue their strike. Canada's largest airline attempted to resume operations on Sunday evening, but the Canadian Union of Public Employees, CUPE, claimed the government's order was unconstitutional and demanded a return to the negotiation table, delaying the plans. This has resulted in the cancellation of approximately 700 flights, stranding over 100,000 passengers. The government has ordered binding arbitration to protect the economy, but the union has rejected this and continues the strike. The government is considering options to enforce a return through court orders or request expedited hearings. The union is demanding compensation for ground work and urging negotiations with Air Canada.